Hello everyone and welcome to Varamore Things. Feel free to follow me and subscribe to see more of my content. Thank you, and I hope you'll enjoy the video. Hello guys and welcome back to another video. As I promised, here I am with more tribal decks. I am so happy that you liked my previous tribal video so much, so it was a must to deliver another one. Today we are playing Goblins, as you voted in my poll, but it's a different list compared to the one you saw in my previous video. In fact, today we are playing Combo Goblins. You may have heard of this deck before, since it was popular a few years ago. Before continuing with the deck, if you like my content, please leave a like and comment, and consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you don't like something about my videos, tell me what I could improve. This will help me delivering better content. Thank you guys, you are the best. Back to us, as usual, we are playing on a budget, slightly more than 100 ticks. Of course, I used the loan program from Card Hoarder. I will leave the link back in the video description to loan most of the cards I'm using here. I'm not sponsored or anything, I just like their service, so go check it out. So, the combo I was talking about revolves around 4 cards, mainly Conspicuous Snoop, Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker, Boggart Harbinger, and Sling-Gang Lieutenant. Our intention is to play a Conspicuous Snoop, 10 play a Boggart Harbinger, putting a Kiki-Jiki on top of our deck, so that Conspicuous Snoop will have Kiki-Jiki ability to copy a non-legendary creature, creating, in fact, infinite copies of Snoops. Because you can copy Snoop with Snoop. The copy also gets haste, so you can copy another time, and so on, copying as many times you want. And last but not least, we are creating a copy of Boggart Harbinger, triggering his enter the battlefield once more, putting the Sling-Gang on the top instead of Kiki-Jiki, now giving Conspicuous Snoop the ability of the Sling-Gang Lieutenant to sacrifice goblins, draining the opponent for 1. So we use this ability to sacrifice our previously created copies of Snoop. So we deal basically infinite damage to the opponent and we gain infinite life. That's the plan here. So we are going to finish our opponent as soon as turn 3, if everything just goes in our way. So, how is this deck tuned? The deck packs 21 lands, since the mana curve is pretty high here. We can wrap this deck up with some utility goblins and 4 Aether Vials. We have Skirk Prospector in 4 copies, helping us ramp out or generating as much mana as we want once we have infinite copies of Conspicuous Snoop. So giving us another angle to maybe combo off or playing something if we cannot drain our opponent. We have Rundvelt Hordemaster, Munitions Expert, Goblin Ringleader, and we also have Goblin Matron to tutor up our combo pieces, or maybe generating some value, tutoring up a Goblin Ringleader. You know, we can also beat down our opponents if we don't want to combo or we can't. We have Goblin Warchief for the same reason, and also Warchief gives haste to all our goblins, so the same turn we play Conspicuous Snoop under Warchief, we can combo the same turn, if we have the other pieces, of course. You may notice this deck is pretty combo-centered and doesn't play many one-offs compared to more traditional lists. This is a personal take, as I wanted this deck to be as combo-oriented as possible. Was it the right choice? Probably not, but I wanted to try it. What we are missing here is the sideboard. In the sideboard we have 3 Thoughtseize against combo decks, or even against decks that has some interaction to stop our combo. So we can, I don't know, turn 1 Thoughtseize, take out removal, turn 2 Snoops, you know, something like this. 3 Leylines of the Void to be not abused by Living End players. 2 Earwig Squad, because in the last league we played, the squad was absolutely brilliant, amazing card. So I thought it might be a good idea to play them again. 1 Cratermaker against Tron, Amulet, and every artifact. Small creatures center decks, Merfolk, you know. 2 Tin Street Hooligans, mostly versus Amulet, and Colossus Hammer. And we also have 4 Chalice of the Void that we can actually play on 1 if needed, rather than 0, but is mostly here to hate on Cascade decks. So, well, enough talking for now, because match number 1 awaits us. So here we are for game number 1. We are on the play against EB Few. Our opponent is playing Merfolk. We keep a 6-hander with Vial, Snoop, and Warchief. Opponent starts off with Rishad and Dockhand, which is strong, but not as strong since we have Aether Vial, of course. We play the Snoop, seeing a Goblin Matron on top, so we're just a few turns away from our combo. Opponent taps the Snoop with Trickster and proceed to play a Lord. Erasing us, we are already down to 14. We draw the Matron. We are playing that. I think we go and look for a Boggart. Of course we do. We vial down a Munitions Expert, instantly killing Master of the Pearl Trident. We do this in our turn because we don't want Munitions Expert to fall down under Tisana's Tidebinder, which will probably happen to our Snoop on next turn. So we up the Vial to 3. We draw Cavern of Souls. We play the Souls, the Cavern of Souls, naming Goblin. We play the Boggart, and opponent plays a Trickster on Snoop. So we put Rundvelt Hordemaster on top, since we don't want to put Kiki-Jiki on top and not being able to play it, to play the combo next turn. So opponent is swinging with everything he has, stuck on 2 lands. Vodalian Hexcatcher, opponent is doing a bunch of damage to us, we are down to 4. We don't up the Vial. A Matron on top. If the opponent doesn't have an answer, we are going to win this turn. We play the Matron, we take the Boggart. We play the Boggart, thanks to Cavern of Souls as uncounterable. We grab a Kiki-Jiki and we proceed to combo off. Pretty easily, I would say. Maybe the opponent was not that lucky, only 2 lands. As you can see, we are creating as many copies as needed, and the last one will always be Boggart Harbinger to put on top Lieutenant and win on the spot. Maybe. You know, now we copied Boggart Harbinger, Sling-Gang on top, so as you can see, every single Snoop now has the ability, sacrifice a Goblin, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Every single one of these Snoops, copies we created before, has this ability, so we can just suck all of our Goblins, which are 25 Goblins here, to drain our opponent for the same amount, and win the game. Okay, I would say, easily won against Merfolk. I'm so happy about that. I don't particularly like Merfolks. I'm joking, that's a nice tribal deck I would like to try soon, in the future, maybe. If Tisana's Tidebinder prices go down a bit, because I can't afford to buy or rent Tisana's Tidebinder at the moment. They are just too many ticks for me. Well, okay, just check out game number 2 and see if we can win the first game. The first match. Game number 2 against Merfolk. Let's see if we sideboarded in something. We boarded out 3 Skirk Prospectors. We brought in Tin Street Hooligans against their Vial and Cratermaker. So opponent has a pretty good start with Aether Vial and Deep-Root Pilgrimage. That card is good, but I'm not sure on how good it actually is. Opponent now has some lands. Curse Totem, okay. That's not what I want to see here. So Goblin Matron, but and we take Tin Street Hooligan to break the totem. I'm not swinging with Snoop because he had an open vial and I don't want the Snoop to die here. Opponent only 2 cards in hand. Much hate, many things, but nothing really relevant. We proceed to play Tin Street Hooligan, breaking the totem. Opponent probability send a Sidebinder Otawara on his own totem. Okay, we play the Hordemaster and swing with Snoop and Matron because opponent doesn't have a 3-body with his only 2-charged vial. But this is a good one. And I fell for his trap. Merfolk Trister on Rundvelt Hordemaster, so he loses his abilities and he blocks and trades. He replays the Cursed Totem, so I think we have to raise here, since opponent isn't doing anything great. Ringleader, we grab another Ringleader and a Warchief. We put down a land and another vial. I swing with everything. Our opponent animates his Mutavault and doesn't block. What was it for? And opponent just concedes. You see, opponent was probably unlucky, probably drew another land. Deeper Pilgrimage is really useless if you don't have bodies on the battlefield. Cursed Totem is surely a great card. We cannot combo off while Cursed Totem is on the battlefield, but if you don't follow up with anything, Cursed Totem won't win you the game because, you know, we are still goblins, so we have haste, we have +1/+1, we have lords, we have tutors, so goblins is still pretty solid if we don't go for the combo, but we decide to instead go for the aggro plan. Okay guys, I'm super happy. We're already down 1-0 in this league. Super good. Let's check out match number 2. Match number 2, here we are on the play. With a pretty decent hand, no combo pieces, but we have Vial, Prospector, Rundvelt and Warchief. So I start off with the Vial. Opponent. Playing Scales. Revealing an Urza Saga, 2 Ancient Steerings. Secluded Courtyard, we go Rundvelt Hordemaster, we pass the turn. Opponent, Saga, of course. Hungerback Walker, we Vial a Prospector. We up the Vial to 2. We draw another Rundvelt. We can now do some serious damage to my opponent. We go Warchief, we Vial the Rundvelt Hordemaster, and we attack with every single creature we have. Opponent is already down to 9. Saga up to 2, another Saga, Ozolif, and Zabaz. We up the Vial. We draw another land, of course. And I think we're going to attack with everything here, because we have Rundvelt triggers to refill our board. Opponent charges the Hungerback. So we have 2 Rundvelt triggers. Opponent has much counters on the Ozolif. And 2 Topters. Okay, not bad from our top. We play the Sling-Gang and we just win on the spot because opponent doesn't have any answer to. You know, we can just sack our goblins. 1, 2, 3, 4. Opponent was down to 4, so easy win. Okay, guys, another easy win against this deck. We usually beat Scales in our leagues. I don't know why, but I'm afraid that if they start off too strong, we cannot win. But let's check game number 2. Game number 2 on the draw, of course. We keep a 2-lander with Chalice of the Void. We sideboarded out full Prospectors and Krenko and a Ringleader. And we put in Chalice of the Void, Tin Street Hooligans. We go with Chalice on 1. Opponent Saga, of course, into Ravager, of course. We play a Goblin Warchief, hoping it survives next turn. Maybe, just maybe, I should have put the Cratermaker in. Opponent just passes, by the way, with 5 cards in hand and then open Saga. We proceed to play a Goblin Matron. We grab the Snoop and we play the Snoop. We have our Ringleader on the top. I don't want to attack into a Ravager and a Saga construct. Opponent grabs an Aether, sacrifice it to break the Chalice of the Void, plays Piffing Needle on Snoop. Pretty decent turn, I would say. So I cannot activate the Snoop, so I cannot pass through the combo. I play a Ringleader. I see another Snoop and another Sling-Gang. So since we have both Sling-Gang in our hand, we cannot combo off. I play a Munitions Expert this turn to break his construct, but he just sack it to Ravager, of course. So we have pretty decent creatures on the board, but I don't. Okay, okay, that's so many things. Okay, now the Ravager has. Okay. We have a giant Ravager with Ballista ability, and since I was down to 14 and this thing was a 14-14, opponents just pinged me in the face for 14 damages. Maybe I should have played the Munitions Expert on the Ravager, but no, because no, you couldn't solve anything, because he could have just sacrificed Zabaz and the other guy, the construct, to the Ravager and screw him. So yeah, I was against so many things, like I mean the Aether, the Piffing Needle, the Cauldron, the Ballista, just the 4 cards needed to win. So such perfect hand cannot beat. Let's check out game number 3 and see if we can win against the Scales this time. Now we are on the play, we mulligan, we keep a very decent hand with Vial, Snoop and Matron, pretty classic. The sideboard stayed the same as before. We start off with the Vial, but opponent already has a Gemstone Cavern. Hardened Scales, Saga and Zabaz. Not bad. We play Snoop with Chalice of the Void on top. Opponent, Ballista, which I don't like. Zabaz, sacrificing it, charging the Ballista, and I'm basically done, because I cannot do anything against this Ballista now. So I play the Chalice on 1. I fetch, and I pass the turn, but I think we are already screwed, because this Ballista is just too much. You can charge the Ballista. Yeah, no, that's just too much. We cannot beat them. Doesn't make any sense. Ballista is just an overpowered card against creator-centered decks. I go Matron. I grab Tin Street Hooligan and pass the turn. Opponent, of course, pings with his Ballista, with his unbeatable Ballista. Another Saga from my opponent. Opponent ups the Ballista with 4 mana, of course. Won't miss a single land drop. I play and break the Ballista. Opponent just discharge it into my face. And I was so tilted here because opponent had, you know, so many Sagas, Hardened Scales, and, you know, I really can't beat this. So we lost. We lost to some stupidly overpowered walking Ballista. No, I'm joking. Ballista is completely fine. Well, I think it's, you know, whoever starts first has a big advantage. Even though we started off pretty well with Vial and the Snoop, opponent had all the answers he needed. And Ballista is, of course, super strong here with Hardened Scales and Saga. So Yeah. We are now 1-1 in the league, nothing too bad about it, but I was expecting more. I was expecting to beat this deck actually. You know, Munitions Expert, Tin Street Hooligan. Maybe I should have sideboarded in Thoughtseize, I don't know, on the play. I'm still not familiar with this deck, not played it too many times, so I'm not sure on what I could have done here. Do you guys have any advice? Do you guys know what I should have boarded in and what I should have boarded out against the scales? Please let me know in the comments, because I want to be a better Goblin player in the future. Well, that's it. Let's check out match number 3 and hope for the best. Match number 3, here we are. I'm on the play again. Strange. I decide here to keep one lander because I have both Vial and Prospector. Opponent mulligans to 5 though. Opponent probably playing some sort of breach deck. Emery, I don't know. By the way, I top deck the second land and I proceed to play a Rundvelt Hordemaster. My hand is not that far. Yeah, Emery, probably, okay. Ascendancy, okay, that's something interesting we have here. Meanwhile, I vialed down Skirk Prospector, and on my upkeep, I put up the Aether Vial. Munitions Expert to kill Emery. Another Skirk Prospector. I am swinging for 3 damage. Opponent down to 17. And I'm passing the turn. Opponent ups his Saga to 2 and pass back to me. I up my Vial to 3. I draw a Secluded Courtyard. So I think I'm sacrificing a Skirk Prospector to add 1 mana. And I'm playing the Ringleader. Grabbing 2 Goblin Matrons and putting Vial and Auntie's Hovel on the bottom. I decide to attack. I don't want to attack with Rundvelt Hordemaster and Skirk Prospector because, you see, this token here. So another trigger from the Rundvelt Hordemaster. I decide to Vial down a Goblin Matron, grabbing a Snoop. I sacrifice the Matron, I sacrifice the Ringleader, and I play the Snoop. Because I can play the Boggart on next turn and potentially win, so the opponent must remove this guy. The Fairy bouncing the Vial. Emery, that's fine. I draw. And the opponent concedes because he saw the Boggart plus Kiki plus Snoop eventually copying the Sling-Gang coming. I don't know why he conceded because, you know, well, I could have had, you know, the other both 2 Kikis and the Sling-Gang in hand, so you never know. Just let me combo off and see if I can win or if I do fizzle. Well, okay, we won game number 1, so pretty happy about it. Easy win. Opponent did basically nothing, but I'm not expecting him to do nothing all the time. So let's check out game number 2. Here I am. Let's look at my sideboard here. I brought in Leyline of the Void to counter Emery. And I also brought in Tin Street Hooligans, and I brought out a few other things. I also brought in Chalice of the Void. I brought out Ringleaders, Skirk Prospectors, and 1 Warchief, 1 Krenko, and 1 Munitions Expert. Opponent, this time's looking way better for him. He's snowballing into oblivion thanks to so many Mishra's Bubble triggers, while I'm doing absolutely nothing. Tapped Blood Crypt and a Rundvelt. Opponent in tie, Ascendancy. I think opponent is setting up a win on next turn. Okay, I can win in 2 turns, but I think the opponent has won already. Yeah. Okay, infinite Mishra's Bubbles. Infinite Ascendancy triggers. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I just conceded here because, you know, my opponent, thanks to Jeskai Ascendancy, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 on tap those creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So the most interesting thing here is that you basically, with Emery and a Mishra's Bubble, you get to play the Mishra's Bubble once more, untap Emery, sacrifice the bubble, tap Emery, play the bubble again, untap Emery, sacrifice the bubble, and so on and so forth, infinite amount of times. While you can also exile your entire deck thanks to the second Jeskai Ascendancy ability. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. And in tie, because whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. So basically you can just infinite cycle these things when sometimes you will get a Grape Shot or whatever and just finish the opponent off with that spell. So it was wise to concede here, but at least now I know how they close the game. Pretty interesting deck. I really love Jeskai Ascendancy. That was a thing back in the days. And I also really love Intai and Emery. So pretty nice deck. Really happy I'm playing against this deck. I'm having so much fun right now. So okay, let's check out the next game. Game number 3. Game number 3, the sideboard. I boarded out Ringleaders and Warchief and Rundvelt, and almost the full sideboard is in because I brought in Thoughtzeize and Earwig Squads too, and Leyline of the Void, and I saw all of them. So my opponent is already saying no in chat. Yeah, pretty good start, and I also have the Snoop. You see, the Snoop not only works as a combo piece, but also card advantage, since we can play goblins from the top of our deck. Opponent is trying to keep up by playing Saga, Shadowspear, and a Ledger Shredder, playing the fair deck plan. But as for now, he is winning the race, playing both Auntie and Ledger Shredder, conniving, and you know, yeah, conniving, Rona. Okay, that's scary. I think I'm losing here. I don't know how can I win from here. I'm killing in tie, doing nothing more, nothing less. If the opponent equips a Shadowspear on the Ledger Shredder, I'm basically done unless I super luckily top deck something useful. Opponent bringing us down to 8. A Matron on top. I play the Matron. I use his ability, grab the Boggart, and I can win next turn if the opponent doesn't do anything. They only have 1 card in hand, so maybe, just maybe, I can win. They use Rona, they annul a hit, but we have Chalice on the Void, but they do it just to connive. They attack, I go down to 1. I play Boggart. Opponent doesn't do anything. Opponent doesn't do anything. Infinite Copies coming in. Infinite Snoops coming in. And the opponent is saying, sucks. And I am sorry, because they played a nice game with a nice deck. And they are a brave deck builder. And I really would love to see this deck list. I forgot to ask him. And that's it. We are copying. We reveal the Sling-Gang Lieutenant and we win on the spot because opponent is tapped out, no cards in hand. We are 2-1, back on track, super happy. You see, this deck can win out of nowhere because if you have one untapped Snoop on the battlefield and you just happen to top deck a Boggart Harbinger, you can just win out of nowhere. Not everyone knows about this combo, so they might think, yeah, Snoop, whatever, just a card advantage, Realm Walker sort of card. You top deck the Boggart, you combo them, and they don't even know why they're dead. This happened a few times these days, but now that I'm playing it, most people know about that. You know, as I was saying in the deck introduction, this was a thing 2 or 3 years ago. This was a solid combo deck. So people might have forgot about that, but OG players won't forget about that. Well, we are 2-1 in the league. No further talking. Match number 4. Match number 4. This time we are on the draw against Dr. Hovenstein. We have double Vial, only 1 land. Pretty solid. We have Matron, Harbinger, Snoop. So this is a turn 4 kill. We up the Vial. We draw a Prospector. We play another Vial and we pass the turn. Opponent is probably playing some Dimir scam deck. Some sort of, I don't know. Opponent pushes the Skirk Prospector. Back to us. Aether Vial up, Aether Vial up. We draw finally a land. Still, we are passing the turn. If opponent does nothing, we win on next turn. Our opponent does nothing. End of turn, we Vial down the Snoop. Sling-Gang on top. Opponent's not happy about that. Probably bolting it. We sacrifice himself to his Sling-Gang Lieutenant ability we had on top. And we then proceed to play a Skirk Prospector. We up both Vials on our upkeep because, you know, we don't want to keep one Vial on 1 because we only have Skirk Prospectors on the deck on 1. So we attack for 1 and we pass the turn. I don't know what the opponent is doing here. Probably some Snapcaster-ish, Archish Bowmaster-ish thing. We go Goblin Matron into Snoop, Vial down. Another bolt, that's fine. We up both Vials because we have both a Sling-Gang Lieutenant and Goblin Ringleader on our hand. So we now probably should erase our opponent. We reveal 3 goblins, so nothing better could happen. We Vial down the Warchief and we play the Boggart Harbinger, revealing another Snoop on top. We swing with everything. Opponent probably have Bowmasters, so I stay back with the Warchief. If the Warchief leaves, I can win on next turn once more. Because the Snoop will have haste no matter what. The opponent just concedes because they preordain, they don't find a solution. As you can see here, as I was saying, the same went for game 2 against Merfolk. If the opponent just guess with, you know, they just bolt, fatal push, but they don't do anything else. Sooner or later, thanks to all the card advantage we generate with Matron, you know, +1, Boggart, no, Boggart is just card quality, but, you know, Ringleader, 3 cards, and this guy on the battlefield for just 4 mana, it's insane. Packed up with Warchief, so we can actually play what we draw, is just insane value. If they don't do anything else, if they don't put any pressure on our deck, we just end up winning. So Let's see if they can counter us on on game number 2. And we are on game number 2. Let's look at our sideboard. Since I don't know much about my opponent's deck, I didn't sideboard it in anything. I keep a nice hand with both a Snoop and Boggart Harbinger, and I start off with a Skirk Prospector. If the combo plan is not meant to go, opponent Bowmasters, okay. We have 2 Cavern of Souls, not bad. We play the Snoop. I was saying, so the plan here, if the opponent just kills the Snoop, of course they do, we can try to come back in the game thanks to Goblin Ringleader. We now go Boggart Harbinger and we grab another Ringleader because we want to go as much as possible with card advantage here. So we proceed to play the first Ringleader. Opponent doesn't know we have to. Let's see what we reveal with... Okay, dress down. Yeah, we're not revealing anything. And the guy doesn't even have haste. Okay. Dress down is a brutally strong card. Opponent attacking us, we don't care. I don't block because I don't want my Goblin Ringleader to die to another Bowmaster, you know. So we play the second Ringleader, hoping opponent doesn't have Dishonored Binder, which they don't, and we draw 2 Conspicuous Snoop. We play the Prospector. Okay, opponent has another Bowmaster. Okay. Strange. We play another Skirk. We sacrificed the Skirk to himself and played another one. Opponent is down to 16. Opponent only 4 cards in hand. We try to play the Snoop. We play the Warchief. Opponent Flame of Honor on the Warchief, surprisingly. Okay. We go in with the 2 Ringleaders. Opponent double blocks on one. Yeah. Who cares? Opponent seeds. Get rid of the Snoop. Flame of Honor gets rid of the other Snoop. We attack with everything. Now we have to put some pressure on the opponent. Opponent is rated down to 9. Breaks Engineered Explosives. Oh, that's a nice top deck. That's a nice top deck here. Opponent cannot counter it, cannot Dishonored Binder. We copy the Ringleader with Kiki-Jiki, drawing us 2 Goblins. Opponent is down to 5, untaps and concedes. Wow, guys. This was probably the strongest top deck I had, alongside another Ringleader or Sling-Gang Lieutenant. That was unexpected, but Kiki-Jiki, if we can play it, of course, in the late game, copying Ringleader is just too strong. Opponent can't do anything. I wonder what was the opponent playing. Maybe the opponent was just unlucky and didn't show, I don't know, subtlety, grief. You know, usually they play this kind of creatures. So, as you can see, Goblins are standing up pretty well to fair decks. I struggled a bit against the big mana decks in the previous leagues, but against the fair decks, we have a pretty great shot. I won't say we are above them. Well, 3-1 is not 4-1 yet. Let's talk about the deck performances at the end of this league and check out match number 5, the final one. Match number 5, here we are against Imized. I already played against this guy a few times and I think I always lost. He usually plays some unfair deck. Yeah, he's playing Yawgmoth. Okay, I will say it now. Despite me having one of the strongest hand this deck can have, I don't think I can win against Yawgmoth in the long run. Because, you know, Yawgmoth himself is one of the biggest counter in the format. So the opponent here is not doing anything at the moment. And that's good for us, but Yawgmoth is the monstrous counter we don't want to face. So I'm playing another Snoop just to be sure. And I'm passing back because I don't want to fall into Bowmasters. Opponent, of course, has Bowmasters, so if I were to attack, the first Snoop would be dead. Opponent almost reached 4 mana, so we have to win now. I need to see a Boggart with the Ringleader. Or just on the top of the library. So yeah, okay, we won. We won, guys. You see, we cast the Matron, we grab the Boggart, we vial down the Boggart, we put Kiki on top, infinite copies, Sling-Gang on top, kill the opponent. So that's why I'm playing 4 Matrons and 4 Harbingers, because I want to be able to combo off as soon as turn 3. In this case, it was turn 4. So we started off and it's not bad. You see, opponent is not understanding what we are doing, otherwise we would have conceded. Sling-Gang on top, and we just win. Okay, I'm having a bit of hope now, but Yawgmoth is the worst matchup in the entire modern format. We usually cannot win. Opponent probably kept a mediumly slow hand. You see, no ramps, no early pressure, no grist, no nothing. Just a Bowmaster and a Geist? I don't know. I'm not feeling very confident. Well, okay, we are just 1 game away from the 4-1, which is a solid result. You see, I have to pay 10 ticks or 100 play points every single league I play. And if I don't end up at least a 3-2, I will have to pay something every single time. And since my earnings in real life are not the best, this is really expensive. So I better try to go for 1 so I can play 2 league of that result. Let's check out game number 2, guys. Let's hope for the best. Game number 2, let's look at the sideboard. We brought in Leyline of the Voids, Thoughtseeds and Earwig Squad, the classic package against combo decks. So we have a mulligan to 4. We have a mulligan to 4, guys, but that's a pretty decent one. With Vial, Snoop and Matron. So could have been worse. Opponent Hapatra. Okay. Vial up. The land, not bad. And I played a tapped land because I don't want my Snoop to die while I do nothing out of it, you know, while I don't play a top card. So I'm just vialing the Snoop at the end of the next turn, my opponent's next turn. Patra swings us for 2. Opponent has 5 cards in hand and already 3 lands on the battlefield. Not looking great. Opponent creates the first snake. Grist. Okay, insect. We are so far behind. That mulligan to 4. So I'm playing the Rundvelt Hordemaster. Baiting my opponent, you know, maybe Fatal Push, Grasting, I don't know. Maybe this bait won't work, who knows. Opponent ups and just plays Blood Artist, and the board is filled with things. At the end of turn, we vial down the Rundvelt, the Snoop. Opponent, of course, the last card he has in hand is Chord of Calling. He grabs Yawgmoth and I just concede because this guy is not hasty, even though if he were hasty, We couldn't have done anything out of just a Kiki-Jiki. So mulligan to 4 plus playing against the strongest deck in the format and the worst matchup. We are now 1-on-1. A bit of unluckiness here, but we are up to start on game number 3, match 5. As I was saying, we are starting. Sideboard is the same. Pretty decent hand, Matron, Snoop. Why can't I just have, instead of a Matron, the Boggart Harbinger so I can win on turn 3? Well, whatever. Opponent delighted Halfling. That's fine. I would like to blow up the Halfling, but of course he's a 1-2. What a... Oh my gosh. Back in the days we played Lenoir Elves. And now look at this thing. Double Vial, by the way. Not bad. Also double Munitions Expert. Also not bad. Opponent, Wall of Fruits. Young Wolf, setting up for a Yawgmoth on next turn. So we up both vials. Up to 2 and up to 1. We draw a Boggart Harbinger, so we can technically win on next turn. We vial the Snoop, seeing another Harbinger. We want to play the Munitions Expert, but of course the opponent has the Fatal Push. Why not? We just ping the Young Wolf. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have pinged anything. So now we don't have the Snoop, but we have the Matron. We cannot win next turn because Snoop, even if we tutor Snoop up with the Matron, we cannot give haste to the guy. Our opponent has Yawgmoth, and of course, draws a bunch of cards, clear my board. Yeah, I don't think I can do anything. I just lost, and I was complaining so much on the chat. I mean, if my opponent were playing, was playing, Amulet's Titan, Tron, something like that, I would have easily won this game. But no, of course I'm up against Yawgmoth. I'm pinging 2 damage to the Yawgmoth. And I'm going Munitions Expert. But the opponent uses Yawgmoth to clear my board, throwing a bunch of cards, and I cannot win from here. I'm just looking at how that deck is incredibly good. So I just concede. Okay guys, 3-2, another time 3-2. I find it very hard to go 4-1 or even 5-0. It's been a while since I 5-0'd last time. I think it was, with Affinity. So 1 month ago. I had some 4-1s, but mostly 3-2s. It's pretty hard to play on a budget, but we will discuss that in the wrap-up. So here we are for the wrap-up. This deck is pretty good, I would say. Pretty solid deck. Combos off pretty often. You can even aggro. You can stand your ground against both combo decks and interactive decks such as Murktide or Cascade. You know, one of the worst matchups you have are big mana decks such as Cabal Coffers. You know, Tron, if they resolve their One Ring, that thing is an incredible problem we cannot remove. I played many leagues other than this one. I ended up 3 times doing 3-2 and 2 times going 1-4. No, sorry, 1 time going 1-4 with this league. The other 1-4 was with the other list. I won't publish because, you know, 1-4 and I just had so many bad games. By the way, it's really hard to play Modern on a budget these days, like on a budget 100, 100, under 150 ticks, considering that on a budget, it's pretty hard because you have to deal with so many incredibly good and expensive cards. This league was not the case. This league was fun to watch, interactive, we executed my game plan, and we lost to 2 combo decks we are not prepared to face, such as Scales and Yawgmoth. Not very good matchups for us. They have Ballista and Yawgmoth, so if we are creator decks, so we cannot win against them. But despite that, I played so many leagues, and the thing I'm really impressed about is how strong the One Ring is. The One Ring is a problem. They banned the Beanstalk, and they kept One Ring in the format. Basically, what I'm saying is the One Ring packs 2 of the Power 9 cards in one. You either get the Time Walk and the Ancestral Recall, because once you play the One Ring, you draw 1 card and you Time Walk. You untap, it's your next turn, you draw 2 cards. So you have Time Walk and Ancestral Recall in 1 card. This is insane. This power level is beyond Modern, is beyond Legacy. This is vintage level of power level. That thing is out there. Today I played at a local tournament, and in the top 8 there were 6 decks playing the One Ring and 3 Amulet Titans. And the final was Amulet Titan against Amulet Titan. The One Ring is unhealthy because, you see, maybe you're pressuring your opponent, they don't have any answer, and you have a full board state. What happens is the opponent is on a empty ender, okay? They draw the ring, they play the ring, so you cannot do anything to them until your next turn. They draw 1, they can do something. They pass back to you, you don't do anything. You pass back to them, they draw a card from their turn, and they draw 2 with the ring, so now they have 4 cards they can play to execute their plan. Maybe they drew Primeval Titan, Karn, I don't know, Archon, or whatever. Tremendous powerful things they can do. I mean, if you ban the One Ring, those decks are gone. You can still play Amulet Titan without the One Ring, but it becomes a really, really interesting deck after that, because you can beat them with your sideboard. What happens now is you Force of Vigor, you break the Amulet, you break the Saga, you attack with a bunch of creators, they just play the One Ring on next turn, okay? They draw a bunch of cards and poof, you are behind once more. This is not healthy, and I was really frustrated today at the tournament when I saw so many One Rings and so many Amulet Titans on the top 8. I'm not saying Amulet Titan in general is a too strong deck, but I'm saying the One Ring is unhealthy for the format. What does this has to do with Goblins? This has to do that Goblins must win the turn you assemble your combo. If you give the opponent just 1 turn to play the One Ring, it's done, because they will find the solution they need to keep you in check and win the game with big threats. Even if the deck playing the One Ring is, I don't know, Dimir Control, you won't be able to finish fast because they're playing Control. And even if you are a bit ahead, perhaps you played, a Ringleader, you draw 2 goblins or 3, they will just play the One Ring and draw everything they need to send you back into your fucking Goblin Cave. So would I play Goblin in a tournament? Would I play Goblin in a competitive Magic event? No, I wouldn't. At the moment, I don't know which deck to play at a competitive level. I have tournaments like once every 2 weeks in real life. And I usually play, budget decks, even in real, or, meme decks. Today I played Rakdos Waste Not decks, But it's not doable anymore because Modern is in such a state that, I'm sorry if I'm not talking about this deck specifically here, but, Modern is in such a state that so many games aren't fun. You do everything you can. If you don't throw bombs every single turn, and perhaps you miss a land drop or you draw 2 lands in a row, if the opponent has those incredibly powerful cards such as, the One Ring, Bowmasters, and Subtlety, and whatever, incredibly powerful Modern Horizon cards and Lord of the Rings cards, you will just be left behind. They generate just too much value, and also Agatha's Soul's Cauldron is one of those cards. And I think this is unhealthy, because this doesn't have anything to do with the skill. You just have to play the most broken deck in the format, and that's it. There's no room for decks such as Goblins. Yeah, I mean, I did 4-1, 3-2, decent results, but you are not there to be competitive, because sometimes you just get punished for absolutely nothing. So just to wrap this up, would I play this deck at a competitive tournament? No. Do I find this deck much fun? Very funny? Yeah, this is a super insanely good deck to play because it is so much fun. Do we have room for improvement here? Yeah, I think we can cut a bunch of Skirk Prospectors, Munitions Expert, 1 Ringleader or 2, 1 Warchief or 2, the Krenko maybe, 2 Rundvelt Hordemaster, and fill this deck with solutions to whatever the metagame is. You never know. I will work on this maybe in the next days, or maybe even in paper for the upcoming tournaments I will have in January. So yeah, this deck is super fun. This is not competitive. I am glad you watched this league until the end. And another 3-2, I am trying my best to create as many budget decks I have to give you guys an opportunity to play this deck on a budget, because as I was saying, I just pay like $4 a week to rent this entire deck. So if you want to play Magic Online on a budget, it is possible. Don't let other people tell you that it's not possible. It is possible. On the next league, you will see my my elves. Dude, am I pronouncing this right? Elves? Yeah, elves league. A very interesting one, similar to goblins. Similar to this list of goblins, elves are not a combo deck, but there are some similarities to Snoop. You will see it in the next days. So, okay, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for staying here until the end. I really would like to speak with you about the format, about the Magic in general, about this deck. So either leave a comment or join my Discord channel. Only 2 people have joined my Discord channel so far, and I am really looking forward to speak with you and about Magic on my Discord channel. And yeah, nothing. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for all the support I'm receiving as usual, and see you in the next video. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a nice day.